Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Untold Athlete Podcast. Today we're joined by our very first Olympian, a true fighter in every sense, both on and off the mat. She's battled through countless challenges on her journey through judo, rising to the very top level of the sport. So please sit back and enjoy the Untold Athlete with Jemima Yeats-Brown. Hello guys, today we're joined by an extraordinary athlete. She's battled through not just one but multiple ACL injuries and defied all odds to represent Great Britain at the Olympic Games. She's done so with immense strength after facing personal tragedy, a double Commonwealth medallist and now an Olympian. Today we are honoured to welcome to the Untold Athlete, Jemima Yeats-Brown. Jemima, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm all good. How was the travel down?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. 3 hours on the train, so...
What did you go up to? 3 hours doing nothing?
I did end up going back to sleep.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'd have done exactly the same thing. Okay, so we're going to take you into some this or that questions. Going to find out a little bit more about you. So number one, ice baths or hot showers?
Hot showers.
Hot showers, not a fan of the ice bath.
I can get in them, but yeah, hot shower any day.
Yeah, I think you'd be a lunatic to say ice bath there. Books or podcasts?
Podcast.
Podcast. Love a podcast?
No, I just don't like books.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Fish finger sandwich or bacon butty?
Bacon butty.
Easy one.
Yeah, no, don't like fish.
Oh, not even fish finger sandwich.
Nah, fish and chip fish, but that's it.
I think you should try it. I think you should give it a go. Movies or series?
Series.
Series?
Yeah.
What are you watching at the moment?
Well, I actually just started, if it counts as a series, the SAS Celebrity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to catch up on that, so I started that last
Anyone
night.
good on it?
I was actually watching Ellie Downey, who's on it.
Yeah,
so.
Gymnast Ellie Downey is on it, isn't she? She getting on all right?
So far, so good. She passed the first challenge. Only one to do it, so...
It's tough. Was she the only one?
Yeah, it was like a trapeze in the air thing, so I was cheating a bit.
So she smashed it then. Going to watch live music or going to watch live sport?
Live sport.
Live sport.
Yeah.
Big sports fan?
Yeah, any live sport. I love watching the behind the scenes, like how they warm up, how they win, how they lose.
What are your favourite sports, aside from judo?
I like watching athletics, gymnastics, swimming, anything.
Yeah, a lot of Olympic disciplines.
Yeah.
Nice. Fast food or fine dining?
Fast food.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Fine dining is too posh for me.
Yeah, I feel like a fish out of water there.
Yeah, and it doesn't fill you up either.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, last one. Shopping in-store or online?
Online.
Online.
Yeah.
Killing the high street.
Yeah, too much. It's sensory overload in the shopping centre. There's too
Yeah.
much going on.
So just to get started, we want to ask you, how did you get into sport? And then how did you develop through that sport to where you are today?
So I started in sport probably when I was like 6 years old. I seen someone do a backflip in the playground and I wanted to learn to do a backflip. So I asked my mum if I could do gymnastics. And then from there, I did gymnastics quite heavily till I was about 14. But I said I wasn't elegant enough, didn't point my toes, wasn't very good at dancing, which they were right, to be fair. And then my mum used to do judo. She was a black belt and on the British team when she did it. So she said, come and try this. So I swapped the leotard for a black belt, did it quite seriously straight from the off. And then when I was 18, I moved to the National Centre in Birmingham and then been there ever since, training, competing.
So gymnastics background.
Yeah.
How much do you think that has really helped the judo?
I think like 100% helped everything from just being disciplined, learn how to train, falling off, getting back up, the flexibility, strength, everything that you need to be any athlete kind of gave me a head start from being a gymnast.
Yeah, definitely. Gymnastics is intense in the sort of body prep and development early on, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of conditioning, a lot of reps and sets, so definitely helped me out.
And so when you started judo, how did you take to it? Did you love it straight away?
Yeah, it was like I can fight someone and it's allowed. And just going grabbing someone, throwing them over my shoulder and that being a good thing to do and like being rewarded for doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, why would I not want to do more of it?
Fair enough. So judo, obviously coming from that gymnastics background and having that good base to start with, how quickly was it sort of evident that you were quite talented at judo?
I think probably from the start, I don't know, I'd have to speak to people around me, but I think I always had something a little bit different, and maybe it was in the flexibility sort of side of it, but I think more it was the mentally, I was a bit wild.
Yeah, aggressive?
I think I was mentally wild, could say aggressive, and I don't think possibly that had been seen as much, and I would literally just go for it and a bit fearless. So maybe the gymnastics side helped with being fearless as well. Like it was something inside of me when I step on a mat, it's like, let's go and have a fight now.
I love that. I heard an excerpt of one of your teammates and they said that you're like a tornado.
Yeah, it's like come in, cause as much damage as you can and go out. Yeah.
I love it. So you got into judo and it sounds like there was something that people could see in you there that could go far. How long was it before you started sort of competing at a really high level in judo?
So I started on the Monday and I competed at the British Championships on the Saturday. I basically just got graded a blue belt because that's what you had to be. And then I placed 5th at the British Championships.
After 5 days?
Yeah, I only knew one throw and it's been banned now because it's a leg grab. You're not allowed to touch the legs. And I only knew that, so I just ran at people, rugby tackled them and was winning fights like that.
Wow.
So, yeah, quite quickly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, ridiculously quickly. Started on the Monday.
Yeah.
Came 5th in the country on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy. So from then, I imagine GB Judo and everyone are going, okay, we've got a new athlete here and this could go somewhere. So how long until you were sort of officially identified by the national system?
So I did 5th place at the British Championships and then I think I got co-opted onto the England squad at the time, about 6 months after that. So I'd won a few more medals from area like Welsh Open, Scottish Open, all like the identification events. 6 months I was on the England squad and then I think 2-3 years after that I got my first major medal, European champion under 17.
Wow. So 3 years after you started the sport, you're under 17 European champion?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's quick.
Yeah.
How did you adjust to sort of getting into a sport? And I mean, 3 years in, you're kind of still even learning a lot about the sport in general.
Yeah.
How did you adjust to that quickly being shot up to the top?
I think, like I said, I think it was the fearless side in me and that I genuinely a lot of time don't know what I'm doing, and I think that it sometimes hinders me because I don't know what I'm doing, but at the same time if I don't know what I'm doing they're not gonna know. And if you can stand up to anyone and give them a fight regardless of whether it's you put your hand here or your leg does this not that, then I think you can go quite far in a way.
Yeah. And I think obviously I've not come from a combat sport, very much not come from a combat sport. But I mean, everything is changing. You've got an opponent in front of you. Surely there isn't a strategy because they're always moving. They're always trying something on you. So you're constantly having to not know what you're doing and sort of just navigate what's in front of you. Yeah,
I think a lot of the time you can get caught up in your fight plan and what you need to do, what they're going to do, what their strengths are. Whereas, like you said, it's so unpredictable. Just go out there. Yeah, you might have a baseline of, I like to see it as like a sat nav. You put the postcode in. You might take a few wrong turns, but if you get there in the end, you're not going to really complain.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good analogy. Yeah. So can you sort of just tell us, I don't know too much about judo, and I'm sure there'll be some listeners out there that don't know. So can you sort of give us a little rundown of judo? It's mainly throws and submissions, and you score points, but that's about all I know.
Yeah, so if you throw your opponent flat on their back, that is the fight done. That's a ippon, and that is finished. Next round, good job. Then if you throw them on their side, where they're not completely on their back, that's a wazari. That's 7 points, and you need 2 of those to finish the fight.
So is it first to 14?
No, that's where
it's... Or is it just 2 of those will finish a fight?
Basically, 7 plus 7 in judo is 10.
Interesting.
Yeah, so... not great for maths, and then as well you can pin your opponent for 20 seconds flat on their back. That's another ippon, so that would be a win. Or you can do it for 10 seconds, and that would be a rosari.
Okay, so 7 points.
Yeah. Then you can also arm lock and strangle, and your opponent needs to submit, and then you'd win the round.
So if they tap, you've won.
Yeah.
And how many rounds do you do?
Just one. So
Just
it'd be a
1.
4-minute fight. If there's no score in that time, then it's unlimited golden score. And then in the day, you'd probably have 5, maybe 6 fights.
And how much is each fight taken out of you?
100%.
You're done at the end.
Yeah, then you have maybe 20 minutes, half an hour between rounds to go and freshen up your arms, chill out a bit, eat some Jaffa cakes, go again.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a really awkward time period, that, because it's not long enough to eat properly.
No.
But you need to get some recovery in.
Yeah, before the final block where you fight for the medals, they might have like a 2-hour break where they kind of redo the stadium, make it like one mat, make it bigger.
Yeah.
And then you can go and have something to eat, sleep or something,
Yeah.
go again.
Just thinking that those short time periods, that recovery is really difficult, because you've got to kind of cool down, warm up, try and get something in your body.
And you get called through for your next fight, maybe 4 or 5 fights before. So you don't have to queue in a pen.
Yeah.
So you don't even get to like sit down really.
You stood around just waiting, legs getting heavy. And
Yeah.
So we know a little bit more about you, and we know a little bit more about judo. What is the biggest challenge that you've faced in your sporting career?
So I think there's a number of challenges that I've been through. I've had 6 surgeries, due a 7th very soon. But when I think of that as a challenge, and then what I went through as well with my family situation, the surgeries and stuff suddenly don't seem so difficult. So basically 2 years ago, I lost my sister Jenny to terminal brain cancer. And that's probably, definitely takes over any difficulties. Yeah.
Puts everything else a bit into perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
So where are you with your sporting career at this sort of time? So if we sort of rewind maybe 6 months before, a year before. Yeah,
so I think, actually I was thinking about it, probably all goes back to the summer of 2019. I was in a good spot to qualify for Tokyo, but in a competition in Budapest, I ended up injuring my knee and arm at the same time. So I tore my ACL and the ligaments in my elbow. I was trying to protect my knee, so I put my hand out and ended up tearing ligaments in my arm on the way down. So that was rough. So that put me out of Tokyo selection. Then there was a year or more of rehab. And as I was coming back from my first proper tournament back from being injured, the week before, my sister got diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. She was told she had a year to live. So from that moment, then it was a year supporting her, and then she passed away a year later. So I think probably from 2019 to when she passed away and then dealing with that was 4-ish years of just struggle, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. That's incredibly difficult. So when she was diagnosed, what are you doing? Are you still doing sport? Because obviously it's news like that is so difficult to do anything.
Yeah, so she was diagnosed, it always seems to happen on Monday. She was diagnosed on the Monday, and then I competed in Bosnia at a senior European Open on the Sunday.
Wow.
So I got a silver medal there. Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
So I didn't really know. Everything was just like your world just freezes. And the only thing I knew or felt like I always feel good doing was judo.
Yeah.
So she had brain surgery the day before, 10 hours I think. Some of it she had to be awake for. And so I was waiting to weigh in, constantly checking my phone like, is it okay? Yes, no, like how's it going? And I don't know how anyone else deals with it, but when I really struggle, I don't eat or sleep properly. So, I mean, making weight was quite well. It was quite good for that.
An easy one.
I had no energy on the mat. I didn't sleep. Felt absolutely rubbish.
Wow.
I got a silver medal, and I think just being in around judo just really helped me just to do what I've always done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in those times judo actually was the best thing that you had, because it took you to your happy place when you kind of needed to be there most as well. You need that a little bit when you're going through those awful times.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think there was points where it helped, but then points where I just threw quite literally everything into judo.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it turned into too much, because I just put everything, all my like problems, good things, bad things, was resting on judo.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the one in Bosnia, it went well. I got a silver medal. But then there's days where it doesn't go well. And then you're kind of dealing with the double whammy of you've just lost at a Grand Slam, you've not got qualification points, you've dropped the ranking, everything, and your sister's about to die, quite literally. So it was, when it went well, it was great. When it didn't, it was not so good.
Yeah. And how was your sister with your judo? Was she just always super supportive? Was she passionate? Was she in judo or sport at all?
No, she actually did a little bit of horse riding.
Mm-hmm.
And I was basically, as a younger sister, I'm obsessed. You're obsessed with your sister.
Yeah.
So there's about an 18-month gap between us. So she did horse riding, I did judo. But she used to love judo. Anytime she could, she'd come and watch me. She'd check the draw list. I'd land in whatever country and she'd already texted me the draw, who I've got, who I'm fighting, when I'm going to be on. Like, she was the ultimate fan. And even when I was younger, I was really, really shy. So she'd come into the weigh-in with me, so I wouldn't be on my own, and then wait for me after. She did everything for me.
So super supportive of your sporting career all the way through, and of you.
It might as well have been her career as well, because the way she supported me and watched me and was there, good day, bad day. If it didn't go well, she'd be like, let's go cinema. Mm-hmm. And she was actually a volunteer for London 2012 at the judo. So she got a better look than me. Like, she was properly on the field of play at the judo, carrying the baskets for the winners and stuff. And I was the judo girl, and she was the one that was closest to the action.
On the floor, seeing it all.
Getting all the selfies with the winners, and I was so jealous of her.
So, of course, that is just horrendous news to get. How did you respond to receiving that?
One of the hardest things was knowing that she was going to die. There wasn't like, you can have this treatment or we'll do this. It was, you've got a year to live.
And that was just definite.
Yeah, there was no, but we might be able to, or we'll see this surgery. And I think for me, every day knowing she was going to die was really hard to deal with.
Yeah, extremely.
Because it was like, she's still here, but she's not going to be. And sometimes we'd be going shopping, or we went to a bar once and we just got absolutely smashed. Got like constant Jaeger bombs, everything. And that was about 6 months before she died. And that night I remember thinking, but how? Because we were just so normal. Mm-hmm. And so part of you wants to sort of let go already because it's easier. Yeah. But part of you is like, but she's just got another round of drinking and we're talking about this, what we'll do tomorrow, let's have a good time planning. It's really hard to separate them. Yeah,
how can those two things almost both be true at the same time?
Yeah, it was weird.
Really difficult. Yeah, it is really interesting to sort of hear those 2 points of view and both of them being in effect at the same time. And obviously you're dealing with, your sister's going through an incredible amount, but at the same time you're dealing with all of that. And there's no book as well, there's no how do you behave in any of these situations.
Yeah, I think that definitely, like, you don't know how you react until it happens. And everyone used to say to me, oh, you're so strong, which obviously means well, but like at the same time, what else do you want me to do? Because she's still here. And if we all just lock ourselves up and cry in the bathroom for a year, that's not really achieving anything. And she was so positive, and I don't know if a little bit of her was in denial about it, because she was like, oh, when I've got better from this, I'm going to do this, we're going to plan on holidays. And none of us I don't know if it was the right thing. None of us said, oh, you know, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And if that was her way of coping or believing, then that's not really fair for us to break that for her.
Yeah.
So it was hard. We used to have to say, yeah, well, when you're better, we're going to go on this holiday and we'll go shopping, and when you get married, we'll do this. So again, that was hard for us, having to pretend.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it was whatever she wanted, that's what we would do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think definitely it was kind of like living two lives, like the secret life when she was still here, but then her life where you just have to live every day.
Yeah. Go
for it, have fun, do what you want.
Yeah, and it sounds like you did, especially in that bar that night.
Yeah, I don't remember much of that one, but
yeah, I think obviously it's such a horrible situation, but yeah, sort of living each day.
Yeah.
Properly living each day.
Yeah, literally. I don't know if, well, I'm probably pretty much known for it now. Like, life's too short. That's my saying. And for judo, life is short, throw big. And I think that massively changed my outlook on judo. And I do think that's helped me get to Paris in a way, because at the end of the day, if I didn't, it's just the Olympic Games.
Mm-hmm.
For most people, it's the pinnacle, it's the be-all, end-all, and it's like, get to the Olympics.
That's the dream.
And that is obviously my dream as well. That's what I wanted since I was 6 when I started gymnastics. But if I don't go to the Olympics, it's not terminal brain cancer.
Yeah.
And I'll be okay.
Just kicked everything in life into perspective, sort of going forward potentially forever now.
Yeah, literally every day it's, what shall I do to have a good time today? Or every opportunity, everything. Every day is like, let's go, let's have fun, let's do it. Let's go book a holiday if we can.
Yeah.
Buy the trainers, do the thing that scares you, because at the end of the day, it's not cancer. Or kind of see it as, if I got told the same news as her and I have 1 year to live, what do I want to do in this year?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wake up every day thinking, right, I've got a year. Let's see what I can do in a year.
And has that outlook and that sort of attitude going forward, has it really, really changed sort of your behaviours and how you go about life?
Yeah, I think it's definitely changed me. Sometimes I think definitely for the good, but I think there's times where like I can be a bit too spontaneous or a bit too like, let's just go.
Yeah.
I mean, I flew to Turkey for a judo competition, missed my flight home because I wanted to stay for a holiday.
Yeah.
I needed to get back to see the doctor, so I flew back to see the doctor about my knee, and then I flew back that afternoon back to Turkey.
Wow.
To carry on the holiday.
Yeah.
Because life's too short.
I rate it a lot.
I mean, it's wild, but at the same time, I think everyone could do with a bit of life's too short boost in them. Like, we get so caught up in things that just don't matter.
Yeah.
And I feel like now I just live with a lot of freedom and, like, what's the worst that can happen?
And that attitude and obviously that situation happening to you and to your sister and your family, obviously when you go to competitions, I'm sure you get the nerves, like every competitor gets. Did it take that weight off you a bit, in the sense of judo became so much smaller and so many things in life for you became so much smaller, in that it is just an Olympic Games, it is just a sport, it is just this? Did that help in any way? Yeah,
definitely, because I don't think I've said I was the worst loser on the planet.
Oh, no.
Not in that I wasn't a sore loser. Like, if you beat me, that's fair and square, good for you. But it would take me, and I'm not even exaggerating, maybe 4 weeks, 5, 6 weeks to get over a loss.
Internally, like in yourself?
Yeah, and I'd think if I'd lost a competition, I wouldn't be allowed to have fun that weekend. Mm-hmm. So if I had something planned, I'd have to cancel it because I lost.
Because you have, was it
was like punishment.
Yeah, punishment. Yeah,
and it would be horrific. Like, I wouldn't speak to anyone on the team for like 24 hours. Mm-hmm. Again, I wouldn't probably eat because I wasn't hungry because I was so sad I'd lost.
Yeah,
and it was really like eating away at me inside. Losing was just so bad.
Yeah,
and then as soon as I lost my sister, I was like, I lost. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be okay. It's judo, it doesn't matter. And I feel like me being upset over judo is almost an insult to her, in that I'm crying because I lost second fight in Baku Grand Slam, and she would have loved to have lost a judo fight, and that'd be the worst thing. So everything, even injuries, anything, like, you can be upset, but it's not. It's almost insulting to her to make it too much of a thing.
Mm-hmm. And did you have any conversations with your sister sort of regarding your sporting career through this period? Because obviously you've been told a year. Did you sort of think about how you want to navigate that next year?
Yeah, I said to her, do you want me to stop everything? We'll just be together for a year, have a good time, make memories. Although obviously she thought she had longer in her head. She was beating cancer. So I said, do you want me to stop? She said, no, you need to go, fight for your dreams, get to Paris, do everything, and I'll be there to watch you, I'll support you. And that's what I want you to do. So as well as being a bit of a weight lifted on judo, in that it's not the be or end all, there was that feeling of doing it for her, which is really weird. It's like another separate life. It's like two things, like with before, with her sort of beating cancer, but we know she won't. It's also feeling fearless on the mat, but then knowing that she wants it and weighing that up as well.
And was that pressure that you felt like you were doing it for her, or was it just motivation that you felt like you were doing it because she said, go and fight for your dreams, go and get to Paris?
I think there was obviously a little bit of pressure in that. I knew it was a year and she's watching at home, so make the most of it while she can see it. But then also at the same time, towards the end, she got really quite bad memory. So even if I'd lost, it's quite funny because she wouldn't even remember. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, oh, it went well. She'd be like, oh, well done. So I'm like, yeah.
So you could just paint your own picture of what happened.
Yeah.
And had your sister passed before you qualified for Paris?
Yeah, so she died 12th of September 2022. Mm-hmm. And that was probably a few months into Paris qualification starting. But at that point when she died and the months before that, me going to Paris was so far out of the question. I was doing so badly performance-wise that although we talked about motivation and wanting to do well, it couldn't have been the opposite. I was doing horrendously badly. So when she died, I don't even think Paris was probably in the question for me at that point because I was so far off where I needed to be.
And so why were you so far off? Was it just matter of fact of sport and just wasn't there? Was it obviously dealing with an incredible load on yourself?
I think it was dealing with the load, not sleeping, not eating really, struggling with every aspect. But also I've struggled to make meaning of judo, I think. So I remember once a referee gave me a penalty for touching the leg. You're not allowed to touch the leg. And he gave me a penalty for that. And I remember in my head thinking, do you know, like, my sister's about to die and touching a leg is not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And obviously it's judo competition and it matters and he doesn't know that. Yeah. And this is the rules. I'm here because I chose to be here. But I remember just really struggling to put any kind of meaning to judo. So although my sister wanted me to do it, it was my dream. I just didn't have any sort of feeling towards judo or Olympics, winning, losing. Even when I lost, I didn't really care. I was upset, but it was just like an empty, nothing feeling for a good few months.
So you said about sort of, you did a lot of judo and you threw yourself into your judo because that is your happy place. And so it sounds like it was still like that, but the meaning had disappeared from it.
Yeah.
You still loved being on the mat and doing judo.
Think possibly it was that I didn't know anything else. So if someone had maybe forcibly removed me, because I think you would have had to forcibly, because I would always say judo. Yeah. But maybe if someone had actually took me out and said, just stop now, like you need to go and chill out, I think maybe that would have been the best thing. But I wasn't going to do it, and everyone around me knew that that was my place. So I kind of got stuck in this cycle of needing to be there, wanting to do well, not doing well, trying even harder to do well, not doing well, training even harder. Like you get stuck in a cycle of stuck. Yeah. And I think someone probably needed to take me out, or I needed to, and reset basically.
Have a bit of time away from the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is so interesting to hear the sort of struggle between two different mindsets going on at the same time, and it all makes sense as well. But the internal battle with two such disparate things in wanting to spend time with your sister, her wanting you to live your dreams, you feeling like that is what you want to do, but at the same time, not right now and not in the context. It's a very difficult place to be. Are you having any sort of psychological help with regards to any of it, but particularly in sport maybe?
Yeah, definitely. I had a lot of psychological support with British Judo. We have a sports psychologist, Andrew Cruikshank. So I was speaking to him a lot, and he was actually the one saying maybe we should take you out. But at the same time, I knew coming out would have left me really behind in qualification. It kind of did anyway, but I felt like I needed to go to every competition to give myself a chance. Whereas if I had just sat out, maybe I would have gone in fresh, ready to start, but kind of dragged it out, like every competition, like, right, this will be the one I get points, that this will be the one.
Yeah.
And then every time it didn't go well, I'd then be like, oh, well, that's a week I've wasted not being with my sister.
Yeah.
So then I'd be like, right, the next one, this is the one. I'll win points, I'll like be good girls, and then I'll be good.
Yeah.
And then it didn't go well. And then each one became a desperate struggle to try and bring something back, or bring my judo feeling back, or, and then make it worth it, so that if I'm not with my sister, I've got big qualification points, or I've done some sort of progress to get to Paris.
When things are going like that in judo and it's a bit of a struggle and the results aren't coming, yeah, it sounds like maybe you did need that reset to get out, but it's so hard when you know that you're in the middle of Olympic qualification. If you have that reset and you don't go to that competition, you're guaranteed 0 points. You know that you're not getting anything.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to make that decision to say, yeah, I'll have a reset, I'll miss out these comps, and then I'll come back stronger, because the fear is, what if I don't come back stronger? I just wasted those opportunities at comps as well.
Yeah, definitely. And then you might see a girl that you've beaten win, and you're like, well, I can beat her. But I think now, or even the last few years, judo is so unpredictable that just because you beat someone one week doesn't mean you're going to. But definitely, like you said, if you sit out, that's 0. And for me, through everything I've done in life, I need to know that I tried. And now I can see trying could actually be sitting out.
Yeah.
But you don't always think like that. Trying is going hell for leather 24/7. So yeah, definitely now I think I'm sensible enough, and with what happened with my sister, life's too short, so one competition isn't going to make or break. But yeah, I was just stuck mentally in this cycle of defeat, trying to get my way out of it. I just couldn't. The thought of sitting out was like horrendous.
So immensely difficult time, and you talked about having help with your psychologist, Andrew Cruikshank, was it? Yeah. And so you are having help and you're speaking to friends, but how in the loop are your coaches? I assume that they do know what's going on. How supportive were they through this period?
Yeah, I think definitely everyone at the British Judo Centre of Excellence was really supportive, especially my coach, my personal coach, Jamie Johnson. He's our national team coach, and he was amazing at just being there through the good and the bad. He was with me when I won my under-17 European title. He carried me off the mat once when I was injured. He was there for me at the Olympics. He was there through everything, and even the worst days when my sister was doing really bad, he would just always be there, and sometimes didn't even need to talk. He would just give me a pat on the shoulder and say, how you going, champ? Or we had actually a secret signal code that we would do to each other, like if things were good, medium or bad. And so if my thumb was up, it was good. If my thumb was to the side, that was like, today's an okay day. And if my thumb was down, that was a bad day. And so sometimes we wouldn't even talk. We just do the secret code, and then that was that. So yeah, he was definitely been a massive support. I think what happened to my sisters impacted everyone in that life's too short kind of way. And even my coaches, my family, friends, everyone just says life's too short. What would Jenny do? Or what would your sister be doing? Or what would she think? And it sort of resets our focus and realise how it's just judo. It kind of reminds everyone, even just a meeting room or whatever that's going on too long, or anything that's difficult or tough, it's like, right, what would Jenny do? What would Jenny be thinking? And then we just go from there. And he's massive in life's too short, let's do this. So yeah, he's been great for me.
And it just sounds like he has such a good understanding of you. You've obviously been together quite a long time. And so as an athlete, he knows you. As a person, he knows you. And even those little signals.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know for sure, but I don't think I'm the easiest person to work with. I don't understand things the way normally you would coach things. I'm not very good with my left and right. And as I started later, as 14, I missed a lot of the fundamental things that kids would do. And yeah, I like to say, I think I've said it to him a few times, most people have like a Xbox brain. I'm more of a PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just wired a bit differently upstairs. So I think he knows how to work with me, what makes me buzz, and he's been there for everything. So yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you're lucky to have someone who really understands you and really wants the best for you.
And I think for sure he can just get the room buzzing. Like, everyone can be having a downer, it's Friday afternoon, you're tired. He walks in there and it's like, oh, it's Jamie's session. And then it's suddenly like a 10 out of 10 session because he just bounces in with so much energy and he's so passionate about what he does. So yeah, I think definitely I've been lucky to have had him through my whole career to now.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, very lucky. I mean, yeah, you're facing an incredibly tough situation, one that most people will never ever have to go through. And to be able to even continue to do a sport and keep part of your head in the game of, okay, well, I want to qualify for Paris. It's such a difficult place to be. So your sister passed away in 2022. When were you selected for Paris?
I was selected, I think, middle of June 2024, so quite late.
Yeah, very late.
Like not long to go before the actual Olympics, yeah.
And what is that day like for you?
It was bad. It was bad until it was good.
Okay.
They said they'd be sending an email to us between 2 and 4 that day. Mm-hmm. And so I was just all day just refreshing. I know it wasn't going to come, but refreshing. And I was the last person in our judo team to find out officially, because everyone else either had no one else in their weight category, so they knew that they were going because they'd qualified the spot, or they were in continental quota, which comes out later, which is you get given it based on your points. Whereas me and another British girl had both qualified in my weight. So it was, I might go, she might go.
Yeah.
We didn't know until 2 o'clock that day.
And did it come out at 2 o'clock?
No, it came out at 2:27.
2:27?
Yeah, 27 extra minutes.
Yeah, and they're long, those 27 minutes.
Yeah, I was literally just refreshing. And my friend actually came down from Liverpool to be with me that day because the coach didn't give any clues away or hints. So I was just waiting and then the email came. We jumped up and down on the sofa going crazy, yeah.
And looking back at how unbelievably difficult your time has been, thinking about your sister, thinking about what she told you to do, go and live your dreams, go and get Paris. What are your thoughts at that time then?
Yeah, I think it was relief, probably. A lot of relief and a lot of hard moments. And every time, even the injuries, you think you need something to show for it in a way. And so every ACL surgery is like, oh, be worth it because you will fight at the Olympics one day. And not knowing if that was going to happen is daily. Like every day is you do your best, but you don't know it's going to happen. Yeah. And then finally knowing that I was going to go and I was going to get to fight at the Olympics. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. So if you could take yourself back to that time, maybe in sort of 2021, you know that you've got a year ahead of you of training that you did that was under incredible, heavy emotional and mental load, started to become physical load because of the lack of sleep and the lack of eating. If you could go back to that time, what would you, if anything, would you have done differently? How would you have approached your life in sport, maybe your life outside of sport, but what would you have done differently if you could go back?
So if I could go back, I think I'd tell myself to chill out. Like I just got so worked up and judo ended up becoming, in my head, it was going to fix things. And it wasn't going to maybe fix my sister, but I thought if I win a medal, then I can make my family like happy for a little bit or show my medal to my sister. And I tried to use judo to fix things and it became not judo. It was like the fixer. Yeah. Whereas judo is just judo and it can be good, it can be bad, but that's just judo. like you don't need judo to make people happy or to have a good day, or like judo is the sport, and then your family, your friends, everything around it is separate to that, and you can have both, and one can go badly, one can go well, and they can basically exist separately.
Yeah, I think when you're an athlete, and when you've been an athlete forever, when you've always, that's always been your identity, which we know it's not, but I know it's how a lot of us feel as athletes. We know that when we deliver good results, we do make people happy. Everyone's happy, everyone's proud. So I think we start to then attach some of our worth to how well we can perform, because we know that that's what everyone likes. Everyone likes when we do well. Yeah. So there is that sort of pressure of, well, what I can do today is perform really well, and that will give everyone a little boost, and that's something I can give to everyone. Yeah, and because the situation was so bad in that there was no fix, I thought anything is a fix. Like anything I can do on the mat could like potentially help fix, even though it couldn't at all. Like I'm not a brain surgeon, I don't know about cancer, but I thought if I get this throw, I get this medal, or if I can get these Olympic ranking points, that's some sort of fix towards my sister. And I don't know why it got tangled up like that, but that's how it ended up being, in that me and my performance. And I remember losing one fight, and it was quite a low level tournament. Like I was trying to go there to find something, find a result. And I lost first fight to someone who was way lower ranked, who I was probably a lot better than on paper. And I remember texting my mum saying, I'm so sorry. And I've tried to fix things. And she was like, you need to stop now. Like you and your judo, we love you as you are, how you are and who you are. And that's nothing to do with your judo. But I always remember sending her a text saying sorry. And now looking back, you think, why would you say sorry? But at the time, it was bad. That's how you felt? You felt almost guilty for not performing how because I know I'd gone. It was a lower level tournament, and in my head, I'd gone to win a medal, ideally a gold medal, to fix things. And so if I could go back to someone, me or someone else, at that time, I'd say just chill. You need to 10 out of 10 chill out. And obviously we're looking back at that time now, and we're saying that's sort of what you were doing. You were trying to make everything better, and you were sometimes going to comps and thinking, right, if I do well, I can give give my family and give everyone a bit of a lift. Did you know you were thinking that at the time, or have you kind of worked that out since? I think a little bit. Like I said, I went to that tournament because everyone was like, no, too much, you're tired, rest, recover. And I knew that in my head I wanted to go and fix things. But at the same time, I only really think about it now properly as how worked up and caught up I was in that. Yeah, so I think it's easier to look back now. But at the time, if you told me no, then like we weren't friends, because I was so dead set in one single-minded about it that I don't think someone telling me would have helped anyway. Yeah. Stubborn. Yeah. Like many athletes are. Yeah. So is there anything else in that time? Obviously, you're having the professional help, which is really, really useful. Were you getting that professional help in that year as well? Yeah, I was, but I think I didn't really talk about it. And I was probably in a bit of denial too that she was going to die. I knew it was going to happen, and I Googled her brain tumour straight away, and there's nothing good to read about it. But at the same time, I think I didn't really want to talk about it. And judo was my happy and normally happy and sort of safe place to just go and train and switch off. And that was my environment most of the time. So I didn't really want to bring it up or talk about it when I was there. Would you, if you could go back now retrospectively, would you kind of open up a little bit more about that? Yeah, I think I would. Well, one of my best friends, she actually lost her dad to cancer. And so we actually talked quite a lot outside of judo on dog walks and stuff. And I think that definitely helped, having someone to talk to who knows what cancer is, how bad it is, the good days, the bad days. So I think that helped, talking to her. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, having that support system as well as, so the professional help is kind of helping you navigate your judo work around this, but not specifically with it, and then leaning on your friend to help you through that side of things. Yeah, and I think one of the things I struggled with is that I didn't really talk about it that much in the year it happened.
and going to tournaments and losing and performing badly. And I kind of wanted to tell the crowd, like, you know, this isn't me. This is like 10% of me, and you're watching a bad performance. And I really just want to say, just give me time, or like, wait, I'll show you what I can actually do. And I used to talk to my mum, because she's a teacher, and she'd have bad days, obviously, and she'd not teach a good lesson or something, and that would be in front of 20 boys. Whereas she was like, you're having bad days in front of 20,000, and like, your bad days are so public.
Yeah.
Whereas her bad days, it's behind a classroom door. The lesson might not have gone to plan, but that's one lesson and no one can see it. Whereas my bad days were so public, and I just sometimes wished I could have said to people, like, there's more to come. Please just stay with me for a little bit.
Yeah. So even then, you're very aware that it's having a big effect on you. Your performance isn't what it was.
Yeah.
And that you know that this isn't you.
Yeah.
But still giving yourself quite a hard time at the same time when it doesn't go to plan.
The athlete brain. And even I had one of the worst performances. It would make sense now. Like you said, now you look back. I competed in Italy on the Sunday, the 11th September 2022. And I got back the next morning and my sister died that day. And looking back, there's no way I should have even been in that tournament, but I just didn't know what else to do. And that was a particularly bad performance. And I was just so annoyed at myself for losing. But then 24 hours later, my sister had just died. And so the performance doesn't even matter. And none of the performances matter now looking back, because that's not the be all and end all. Like, my sister and life and your health and everything is important. And I'm not going to look back and think of that bad performance in whatever country. But yeah, that was a particularly bad one. And then the next day my sister died, and I just wanted to again tell the crowd, like, this isn't real me, please. But yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, and you can't stop the way that you're feeling and thinking. It is who you are. And growing up as an athlete, you have all of those pressures and all of those expectations, and some of them come from external, but a lot of them are internal. A lot of them just come from you and what you want to achieve. And like you said, you were using judo because it was a constant for you. It was a thing you did, and you knew where you were when you did judo. Yeah,
it was just a place to switch off for 3-4 hours a day. And when someone's trying to throw you over their shoulders, you can't really think of much else. So it was definitely a way to switch off. But yeah, it was my only way as well. And my only way was also being judged by the world, I felt.
Yeah.
So maybe there needed to be another outlet to go to.
Do you have anything that you think of as another outlet that you could have gone, I could have put some into this or something into this?
I think my way of coping and dealing with it was just exercise. Any exercise, hard, fast, slow, whatever. So even sometimes just go swimming or do park runs when I'm able to with my knees and stuff. Go for dog walks, like any movement or exercise was, but I probably didn't use those other ways enough.
And is that who you are as a person, or is that the athlete side of you saying, right, if I'm going to do anything, it's going to make me fitter, faster?
No, I think sometimes I think it is the athlete mindset, is that you feel good. But as I've done exercise since I was 6 years old to quite a high intensity, anything else feels a bit like wrong in a way.
A little bit of a waste.
Yeah, like I don't do it just to be fit, but I do like just moving. And I feel like I can switch off better after I have exercised,
So an incredibly tough time that you've been through, navigated it in your own way. And I think given everything that was going on, I think you navigated it really, really well. Obviously talked about some of the things you might have done if you could go back, either regarding your own personal experience with that situation or just in general. What advice would you give to athletes that are listening now that want to pursue an elite career?
I think definitely, well, it would be for people with similar situation to me, and as well without, is it's hard as you're an athlete, you're really obsessive. But I think to try and not be so obsessive. But I think that's what helps you win, is that you're so single-minded in what you want to do, how you're going to do it. But I remember even before injuries or losing my sister, I was just obsessed with the goal and nothing else mattered. And I think having another outlet is kind of what I've learned through the years of being an athlete. Is I went to uni and I've done other things, and I think that's probably the main thing with a situation like mine or without, is to have other things to go to, so you're not constantly putting everything on judo. And if you do well, that's great, but there are times, and there will be times, where it doesn't, and you need to have something to come back to or to switch off from. And then with my sister, that was as well. What was tough is that I'd put everything into judo, and I still did have other things I liked, but for some reason judo was the only thing that would help me. And if it doesn't go well, then you're just losing everything. So definitely try and broaden your horizon. Try and find things that you like doing off the mat, anywhere. Just do more. Because there's a lot of time as an athlete. There's a lot of time that you don't realise you have. Because you're training for a few hours a day, and then there is time around it. I know a lot of the time you're on the sofa in pyjamas, wanting to sleep.
Recovering. Let's call that recovering.
Recovery. But try and get out there and see what else there is that you can do. Yeah.
I think, completely for athletes. I know I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of athletes, and I've been an athlete myself, and our sport does really become our identity. And it's something that is not healthy, but it's something that seems to be so prevalent in sports. And the issue is, if you get an injury, let's say just an injury, but it's career ending. Yeah. Now what do you have?
Yeah. And
it's so that situation is so scary, and it's hard, because you speak about that is what makes you an elite level athlete, is that you are so single-minded, and this is everything you work for. It's
kind of like you're asking yourself to do the opposite of what is needed. But yeah, British Judo was really good at helping do other things. I started university, and they were really good at fitting the timetable around my work or changing a session time. And we're actually partnered with University of Wolverhampton. So I did lectures, and I'd run round to the corner, put my judo kit on and get on the mat. So I think really good to do more of that stuff and just make judo part of your day, but not your whole day.
Yeah. And understanding that you can still be the best in the world, one of the best in the world, going to Olympic Games without everything just having to be about judo.
Yeah, definitely.
But when you're there, it feels like, no.
Yeah, it's just like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Why do I need a plan B? Because plan A is going to work, obviously.
Yeah, and it also kind of has to be like that, because...
Yeah. And then the thought of someone saying, what about plan B? That's insulting. That's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
Because I will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Jemima, you are our first Olympian, and you're also going to be the first person to take part in our new segment, which is My Selfish Question. And This is a part where I'm going to ask you a question that I want to know, just about you or the sport that you do.
Yeah.
And my selfish question this week is, in judo, you're fighting people all the time, and you have to be fighting people in training as well. So I imagine that you square up against some people that you're very good friends with or potentially have looked up to for years. When that situation arises, what do you do? Do you sort of step back and take it easy because you don't want to insult someone, or do you stand up and really go toe to toe because you want to give them that respect? What's the approach there?
I think definitely it can be hard, but I think definitely you give it to them. And like you said, I think that's the ultimate form of actually showing them respect, is that we're both here and we both want to get better. So by fighting each other the hardest we can, we are going to both get better. Whereas if you just grip them up and go to the corner and have a little chat, that's not actually doing anyone any favours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it can be difficult. I mean, I've fought some of my GB teammates at competitions, and we've been in the same room to go back to. Mm-hmm. And so you could win or lose a medal match, a big medal match, and then you go back to the room and sort of how's your day?
You have to sit and stare at the person who just beat you to a medal.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
it can be
tough.
difficult, but I think we're all old enough to separate the two. It can be hard, and with judo there's only one spot per weight category for the Olympics.
That's
so
tough.
yeah, it can be tough, but at the same time it's our job. We know what we're getting into, and yeah.
You know you're in an individual sport, but
it's an individual sport, but we need each other to get there. So it is, when you try and explain it to people, it's difficult, but when you walk into our environment, I don't think you'd be able to tell that there's these big, intense rivalries, because more than anything, we need each other to get to the top.
And have that sort of mutual respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as I said, judo is built on respect and discipline. So you kind of just grow up learning that. Yeah.
Jemima, thank you so much for sitting down with us and for sharing that story. An incredible story. And I'm sure a lot of people out there listening are going to get so much from that. You should be so proud of your achievements. Congratulations on Paris. And I'm sure your family are incredibly proud of everything that you've done.
Oh, thank you for having me on.
Thank you very much. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. A powerful story about overcoming grief and embracing the belief that life really is too short to hold back. Or as Jemima would say, life's too short, throw big. A huge thank you to Jemima for taking the time to share her journey with us. I hope you guys take away as much from it as I did. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review, and join us next time for more incredible Untold Athlete stories. Until then, stay strong and look after yourselves. Thanks a lot for listening.